Hi everyone, we are from Group 3 and we are going to present our discussion about short story. The title is Who's Irish by Jen. Okay, so this is our members of the group and this is our project goals. The first one is plot, the second one is characters, and the third one is POV, the fourth setting. And now, let me introduce myself. My name's Navila Arina Salsabillah, and I will tell you the biography of the writer. Who's Iris is a short story that released in 1999 by the American writer Jen. According to Wikipedia, Jen is an American writer. She was born in America 12 August 1955. She is a Chinese. She published her first book in 1991 by the title of Typical American. She has published 4 novels and 1 short story collection. 5 of her short stories have been reprinted in the Best American Short Stories. Next, we talk about the plot. What happened? The first one is exposition. The story begins when the grandmother or the narrator explained about her family background, and then she explained about the differences culture between she as a Chinese and her daughter husband. She complained about the Irish family that brought bad influence to Sophie, her granddaughter, and Natalie, her daughter. And next is conflict. The conflict began when she started to babysit Sophie, her granddaughter. Both the narrator and the parents knew about how Sophie behaved. So the narrator suggests to use physical action. But Natalie and her husband rejected it and suggested to use words instead. So the narrator used the word to babysit Sophie, but it was no use. And after that, she started to use physical action by spanking Sophie. Sophie reacted by crying at first, but soon Sophie became obedient and didn't misbehave for a while. Next, rising action. One day, the grandmother, or the narrator, took Sophie to the park. After that, Sophie kicked Sinbad's mother because Sinbad told her that it is okay to kick his mother. Of course, that would make the grandmother become angry. So the narrator spanked Sophie and then Sophie hid in the foxhole. Next, the climax. The climax started when the narrator became furious and tried to get Sophie come out from the hole. She took a stick and began to poke at Sophie. Evening came. John and Natalie were furious because of their misunderstanding. They saw the narrator poking at their daughter. They thought that the narrator was torturing Sophie.
Hello, my name is Nabiel Akhliya and we got move on to the next part. The next part is falling action. After some argument, the narrator got kicked by Natalie and Joan because Joan doesn't like the way she babysits Sophie. Also, Natalie want to maintain her household, so the grandmother of the narrator leave her daughter's house. We got to the resolution. After that, Bess, Joan's mother, offers the narrator to stay in Bess's house And once in a while, Natalie visits her mother. Also, John lost his job again, but even though he lost his job, he rather hire a babysitter rather than ask the narrator to help them babysit Shopee. So, we got move on to the characters. There are five characters in here. One is the grandmother or the narrator. Two is Shopee. Three is Natalie. Four is John. And five is Bess. We got move on to the first, the narrator. She's a Chinese old woman. She has a fierce and stubborn characteristic. She get that characteristic because of that Chinese education. The second is Shopee. She's Natalie's daughter. She's wild and disobedient. Nothing could describe perfectly beside than that. So the third is Natalie. She is the narrator's daughter. She's loyal and a supportive person. Because she's always support her husband. Like even though her husband is losing his job and depressed, he keep loyal and support him. Wow. And the fourth is John. John is Natalie's husband. He's an Irish. He's a lovely dad. He loves his daughter so much. 5. Bess. She is John's mother. She is kind because she accepts the narrator who live with her to live with her. She also a good listen to the narrator.
Hello, my name is Nissa Parameswara, and we're gonna move to the next part. This part is about narrative perspective. The events in this story are told by a first person point of view, who is also the main character. The first person point of view uses the pronouns I, me, my, we, and us in order to tell a story from the narrator's perspective. It can say that in this story, the narrator her story retelling story about her and her granddaughter. We can prove this first person point of view from the beginning until the end, until the last paragraph. For example, is in the sentence I am work hard my whole life and first beside my husband always used to say he is afraid of me, and it is inside that she is like not any Chinese girl I have ever seen. We go to the park, and this is what she does. The next one is setting. The physical setting of the story is in the United States. The event takes place in an unnamed city, but the focus is mainly on the park where the narrator takes her granddaughter Sophie. The story's social setting focuses on how immigrants adapt to American society. This idea is illustrated by the narrator, who is judgmental of the American way of thinking and behaving. The social setting also focuses on issues that such as mixed marriage and gender roles.
So we move on to the next part. The next part is about moral value. Overall, we found this story is interesting for us. Like the story talks about cultural differences. This story also highlight the classes between parenting style into different cultural. Like for the narrator, he's more of like traditional Chinese style that using physical action more, but the Natalie and John from Irish American family using word instead. So the moral value in the story is we highlight the importance of understanding and respecting each other's cultural differences in order to maintain the family's relationship. So Oh, that's all from us. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to ask, comment, or react on Sipajar. Thank you. Goodbye.